Hello. All right, I am going to find a solution for a system of equation for two equations that are in slope-intercept form. So we have y equals 4x plus 3 and y equals negative 1x minus 2. So when we graph this first equation, we look at the y-intercept, which is 3, and we come over to our graph, and that's where we want to put our first point, is on 3, on our y-intercept. And then from there, our slope tells us our pattern that we want to progress our line at. So our slope is 4. Well, our slope is really 4 over 1 because whole numbers are the same as 4 over 1. And that is rise over run. So we're going to rise 4 and we're going to run 1 from our y-intercept, which is at 3. So from our point of 3, we're going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to go 1 to the right. And we're going to put another point. And now that we have two perfect points on our line, or on our graph, we're going to make a line. And you're going to use a ruler. I don't believe I have a ruler. Maybe I can. Aha. Okay. All right, so there we go. I make a line based on my perfect points. And now I'm going to go to my second graph. I'll make it in a different color so we can see. And again, I have my y-intercept, which is negative 2. So that's going to be my first point that I put on the graph. Y-intercept, I'm looking at my y-axis. So I go to negative 2. There's my first point. And my slope is negative 1. So negative 1 over 1. So I'm going to rise negative 1 and run 1. So a rise of negative 1 is actually when you go down 1, and then you're going to go 1 to the right. All right, so from negative 2, I'm going to go down 1, 1 to the right, down 1, 1 to the right, down 1, 1 to the right, etc. I'm just going to put the points on the graph. The more points that you can have on the graph, the more accurate your line will be. Okay, so let me get my tool out here to make my line. When you're making your line, you should go edge to edge, from the edge of the graph to the edge of the other side of the graph. Okay. And what you want to look for is the coordinate place, the coordinate that the lines intersect. So that's called the solution for the system of equations. So looking at our graph, they connect right here at negative 1, comma, negative 1. Okay. So that is the solution for our system of equations. All right, now I'm going to check our work. So we check our work. We have our first equation. Now, any place I have an x, this is my x value and my y value. They actually happen to be the same number. Anytime I see an x, I'm going to put in my x value. Anytime I see the variable y, I'm going to replace it with what I found out to be my y. So I'm going to rewrite this. So y is negative 1. 4 times my x value is also negative 1 plus 3. And I'm going to solve this. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 plus 3. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So if you've done it correctly, you should have the same number equal to the same number. In this case, -1 equals -1. Okay. That's not enough. I need to check my answer in my second equation. So I'm going to start with my second equation. Y equals -1 x minus 2. And I'm going to do the same thing. Replace the y with my y value, which is -1. Replace the x with my x value, which is also, in this case, -1. So -1 times -1 is +1. 1 minus 2 is -1. -1 equals -1. That is correct. So if I've done this problem correctly, what will happen, I'll get -1 equals -1. And I know that I've done it correctly. If I didn't do it correctly, it might say something like -1 equals 2 or -1 equals 5. Well, -1 can never equal 5. It can never equal another number other than -1. So if you've done it incorrectly, you will not have -1 equals -1. You'll have -1 equals something else. All right, let me show you another problem that we can do. So same scenario, you have two linear equations, finding a solution to the systems of equations. All right. So I am going to put my first point on the y-intercept, which is 1. And then my slope is -3/2. -3/2 is my rise over my run. So that means I'm going to go down 3 and I'm going to go 2 to the right. So from 1, from my y-intercept, down 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 to the right. 1, 2, make a dot. Down 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 to the right, make a dot. 1, 2, 3, to the right, and then I'm off the graph. So that's good. Now I'm going to draw my line. Okay. All right, let's do the second one. Change my color. So here is going to be your first point at your y-intercept. That's -3. Then my slope is 1/2. So that means my rise over my run. So that means 1 up and 2 to the right. So from -3, 1 up, 2 to the right, 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 1 up, 2 to the right. Draw my line. There we go. Okay. All right, now what is the solution to the systems of equation? Well, your solution for your system of equation is the coordinate point that the two lines intersect. So looking at my graph, the two lines intersect at coordinate point 2, comma, -2. Okay, because they intersect right here. Now checking my work. I start with my equation, y equals -3/2x plus 1. Now, any place I see a y, I'm going to put a 2. Any place I see an x, an x, I'm going to put a +2. Okay, so y is negative 2. X is positive 2. And you can use a calculator or you can multiply straight across. Negative 3 over 2 times 2 is negative 3 plus 1. And then negative 3 plus 1 is equal to negative 2. If you've done it correctly, negative 2 equals negative 2 will be what you come out with. If it came out to anything else, negative 2 equals another number like 4 or 50 or a different number. Negative 2 can only equal negative 2. So that is correct. I got to do it on the other side, on the other equation. So y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Okay. So I'll show you a different way just in case. So instead of the x, what I'm doing is I'm replacing that with 2. Instead of the y, I'm replacing that with negative 2. Okay, so I have negative 2 equals 1/2 times 2 minus 3. All right, 1/2 times 2 is 1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. And there I am again. Negative 2 does equal negative 2, so that is also true. So I know I've done this correctly because I've checked my work and both equations, it comes out correct. Okay, so the solution for this system of equation is 2 comma negative 2. Thank you for staying with me today. Thank you.